Team 2 missing a guy. Hopefully they'll just load in just a second or two. We got Blood Dagger over for the Team 1, ready to go. On that team, we got Hawk and Shadow hiding. Wait, not hiding. He's actually the Tauren? I was gonna say he's hiding inside of the Tauren. He is the Tauren. Ice Cube with this team. We got Necro as well as Rosie. And it looks like Blood is going to be first up. Chicago first up over for the Team 2. They are missing a 5th guy. I think it is Skills. Hopefully he'll be able to load in a bit. We got Death King over here with Makima as well as Sensei joining back in over on the Windwalker, which is such a good spot. Sunder to Blood Dagger. I think last time those two dueled showed that it was Chicago getting blasted, but this time Chicago's the one doing the blasting. Blood Dagger catching himself with a quick shadow step. Sepsis, secret technique onto Chicago. Might have to go for a wall here. Is going to take a load of damage. Trying to go for as much self-healing as possible. Blood Dagger does vanish in a quick reset, and Chicago able to recover a lot of health. Almost anticipating the rogue going for an interrupt, trying to be very careful with their cast. And Blood backing up out of the completely. As soon as you know that the rogue is behind the wall, you're chilling. Is the flame shock still on you? No, it is completely gone for Chicago. It's gonna come down to proper use of a trinket, proper use of a wall, and then catching the rogue out and making sure that making sure to punish him back into the restyle. The eyes should be spawning, I think, in a couple of minutes here. Knockback by Chicago does not disrupt the rogue at all. Got himself Sepsis. So he does actually go for the advantage just to get the Sepsis and everything back up. He doesn't have an out unless you can Shadow Meld. Does go for a Sunder stun right around the corner. Does stun, double stun on the rogue. Does catch it with a Earth Elemental joining in. Cloak of Shadows for Blood Dagger. As long as you Flame Shock him before he comes from behind the pillar, he will not be able to catch an easy reset. And Chicago just continuing just to pound the pressure, pound the damage into the rogue. Catch a little Frost Shock into a Shadow Step blind, but gets rid of by the totem. Has to break the blind one way or another. Get a shot. Oh, it's going to be a trinket out of Chicago with a cheap shot to follow. Knocking the rogue. He's not going behind the pillar. He's trying to stay aggressive. Chicago trying to see if he can maybe stabilize here. That's a lot of damage taken by the rogue. It's going to try to go for a kick. Maybe just cast and heals in his face. Or maybe just try to see if he can go for a easy kick out of the rogue. But does end up bailing away with a win. That was barely won that too. Chicago having to fight versus Hockey's though. There's a big old Tauren rogue. I really do like the fact that Tauren can finally be rogues. They really do look good. Wait. Wait. Come on, man, he's already dead. Oh my god, he's actually just got every single toy to do to desecrate his body. Man, it's just so small. Come on, he's a little guy. Oh, what is this, Hackers? Oh my goodness, the assassin came in. Deathmark, I think that was the fattest Venom I've ever seen or something, and then just vanished as Chicago just ticked out in a couple of bleeds. Can you do this again? I don't think you'll be able to do that for a while now. Sensei better be careful. At least he knows there's no death mark out of the rogue this time around. So should be hopefully alright. Cheap shot opener as he's getting his bleed set in. Sensei does cap him in a quick in cap. Leg sweep to follow. Could be a trick. It does get a trick out of Hockey's. That's an opportunity for the rogue to catch a reset. Sensei bleeding out profusely. Look at this man's health. He might actually have to play very, very defensive for a bit. And that's exactly what he's having to do. Playing very, very defensive as Hockey just back there playing with Zawen. As Sensei needs to get a good approach. Kid to shot. It's going to be a full set of dots back up for Hockey. Does not have advantage for this one. So he might be in a bad spot. Just sends Sensei bleeding, hits him with a shiv and just backs up out of there. He's just waiting until he gets himself a full go. Deathmark back up in about a minute or two. So if he just waits for about a minute, I don't think Sensei will be able to respond to the burst. Especially if you're going for a full stun Deathmark and you vanish out like you did with Chicago. What do you got to karma? You can't karma anything. So for Sensei, human racial, normal trinket might have to be the play. For Hawkins, he's just fine waiting out, camping out. Eyes are up for either side. Sensei has an opportunity to catch one of those and hopefully find the rogue potentially. But Hawkins on the approach with a quick sap. 30 seconds to the death mark. I do wonder if he's going to pop out of stealth, or if he's literally just going to wait 30 seconds until his big cooldowns are up. Full stuns onto Sensei. Full death mark. Doesn't go for the karma. Might have to. Goes for the karma. Hawkins could just cloak it. Hold on a second. Does go for the cloak. Death mark is still going through. Hold on. Does Sensei die? Oh my god. The blades. Hawkins just. Oh my goodness. The bleed damage. All he had to do is cloak it. This is what I was thinking, like, maybe he might want to pick up the eyes there. That's very, very aggressive. That's going to be a big opener. Mock him out in the open versus Hawkins. The man not feeling all that. What are you cold-blooding, by the way? What is he cold-blooding? An Envenom? Actually, maybe he is cold-blooding Venom. Double TF is this. So this is Assassination Rogue, puts up full bleeds, death marks, so the bleeds are doubled up. He's running full bleed build with Dance. That's also giving him 10% more damage. And he snapshots those bleeds inside of Dance. So they do the most amount of damage. They get Rupture, double Ruptures. Every Rupture, I think double Ruptures also put an extra bleed. And when the enemy is at 10% health, if those dots do more damage than his health bar, if it's at 10%, it's an immediate execute. Nothing you can do about it. Cloak, just to remove the karma completely. Makima in the middle. And Hakis actually was able to recuperate quite a lot of cooldowns just now. Deathmark in about a minute. Trinket available, but it's a bit of a stealthy match. Just pick up the eye. Makima should be able to spot Hakis if he is careful. Should see Makima crossing down the middle. Is he? Did he caught it? I think caught him. I think he knows exactly where he's at. If he can get himself a gouge opener, trying to phantomize him out in the open, it's going to be cheap shot. Does have a trinket. Blind. Makima does not burn a trinket himself. Does have a cloak of shadows for the death mark, so he might be okay. If Akis can somehow get the cloak of shadows out of Makima early, he might be alright. Does go for the disarm as the secret technique comes out. Going to be disarm back into Hakis. Just needs to get himself a little bit of a just a little bit of a breather. Needs to go for some kind of dots into Makima. If he has himself sepsis, that might be enough to actually get Makima to use a cloak of shadows. Does go for the human racial, will not have an out anymore. Has himself an evasion. Worse than Bahakis for just a second. Goes in for a shiv. Try to see if he can back up out of there. Has himself the death mark if necessary. If he can lock down Makima with the death mark and stun him back to back, as long as Makima does not press cloak of shadows once death mark is in, he actually will melt him. There is a win condition. It's a little bit harder to achieve. Does go for big damage. Does not have a cheat death. Hakis needs to make a play. Cloak of shadows up right now. Makima goes for a reset. Is he still out? Is he dotted? No, he's not dotted. So right now, Hakis does not have a trinket. Makima just burns stuns back to back into the guy. Right now, Hakis still needs to get himself a proper stun onto Makima, full dots, and keep locking him down in stuns. And I think that's like the only way he's really going to be able to win right now. Hakis picking up the eye. If he can get himself a proper opener with a kidney shot, maybe he wins this. If he's careful where Makima is at, might be okay. I think he knows. I think he knows where Makima is at. He knows. He knows. The question is, does he get himself the proper angle though? Can he do it? Sab by Makima. Hakis out in the open. Does have a trinket. Makima does not have a human racial, so this is where Hakis could have himself a proper go. Does trinket blind. Makima can respond. Potentially good setup. Evasion. Kidney shot to follow. Hakis does get hit with a disarm. Has himself an evasion of his own. Makima will not be able to respond here whatsoever. If Hakis can get himself a good setup, blind onto Hakis right now, Makima will not be able to catch a clean reset. Still potentially decent go for Hakis. Gouge still puts you in combat. Dance available, cheap shot, very, very DR'd. Hold on. Hakis, if you get some full bleeds, stun. Hold on a second. Wait, he's doing it. This boy is doing it. Wait a second. Cloak last second. Makima is left with no health whatsoever. Removing bleeds and poisons. Barely surviving it. That cheat death does keep you alive. Hakis, are you still bled up? No. No. It could be anyone's game right now. Hakis no trinket. Makima with the human racial coming back up very, very soon. Hakis hanging out by the eyes. Actually, I think Hakis could win this. He doesn't have cheat death. That's like the only thing that I'm afraid of for him. Because if Makima goes in for a full go, I think Hakis does lose. But, dude. Wait, yeah, I'm surprised he actually lived. That cheap shot lockdown thing was perfect. Cheat death barely saved him just enough to get a cloak of shadows off. Hakis picking up the eye. If he's careful, Makima should probably be able to get a sap on him. No, trinket rather, blind onto Makima with it is something to follow for Hakis. That's an opportunity to maybe make it go. But Makima does go for the evasion, trying to see if he can dodge him. Hakis with a evasion of his own. Makima with a blind will not be able to catch a reset though. You will not be able to ever. Shadow Step does Phantomize just to keep you in combat, just building up comp points. If you kidney shot, Makima has a human racial, does burn it. Sheep shot into Hakis, big secret technique is this enough though. Hakis still has himself a big go. Cloak of shadows for Cloak. Makima Cloak super early. Hold on. If you keep him in combat, just dot him up and then Deathmark, there's nothing you can do. Does get him dotted. Should be aware that the rogue is nearby. It cheap shot, DR'd heavily. Makima getting bled up right now. Hakis, this is the opportunity to have a big go. Hold on, cheap shot. Makima I think just dies. Hold on a second. Does go for the advantage just to get himself even more damage. Sniping and swiping the win yet again. Are you kidding me? With Death King gonna be up next. Disarm immediately got himself grippy hand. Hakis got nothing left. I don't think he even has an evasion either. I think this is gonna be the Death Knight taking it. Yeah, I really wish Team 2 did have their 5th. I'm missing out skills, but for Death Knight, he's like the only one left. Though the game is with those rogue duels went into heavy dampener. Is Ice Cube not next? Is it Ice Cube supposed to be, or is it Necro? I'm not even sure. Or is it Rosie? Looks like the mage, I guess, is just gonna have to go. I'm not even sure if he is supposed to go. but he kind of has to. Death King, I think, is just trying to take the momentum onto anyone else he can. Does get an Ice Cube, Ice Block out of Ice Cube, which is a force. Does do quite a bit of damage though. Death King not looking all that good health-wise. An Ice Cube having to wait this out, not getting any healing at 70% dampening. That's what happens when you have rogue games like these, man. Hawkins was not going to give that other guy a shot whatsoever unless the mage got summoned right now. Does end up getting clubbered by the pets. It looks like Necro. I don't even know if Necro is supposed to be next, by the way. I don't even know if Necro is actually supposed to be next up in the duel. They just get pulled out by Death King because he just wants to take the whatever momentum he's got, whatever healing he's got, and take it on to the next player. I don't even know if maybe Rosie is supposed to be dueling him, but Rosie just kind of letting him tussle it out. Necro really doesn't want to fight him. Really doesn't want to fight him. Scatter to follow, force into it, Death Shock him, might give you a decent opportunity here. Needs to give him some big rapid fire kill shot, might just do him in, got himself the IBF, but it's barely keeping him alive, cannot really do much right now, trying to stay super aggressive, but does end up getting rapid fired. Hockey, somebody did you kill there? 3? He does kill 3. My goodness, dude, the amount of burst damage Assassin can do once you put your dots on a death mark, it is terrifying. It is actually just terrifying. Let's get ourselves another go, boys. Try to see if we can get ourselves a 5th over for Team Chicago.